Well, we're on our way to pick up the Mustang and dropped it off yesterday and getting the 373 gears installed. I was going to do it myself until I realized I kind of really need a press, because to set the gear mesh, you have to keep pressing on and pulling off that pinion gear bearing. So at the very least, I would have had to have taken it in to get the bearing pushed off so that I could do the spacers and try to get the gear mesh set and all that. But you don't get it on the first try. You have to keep taking it out, putting it back in, taking it out, putting it back in until you get the spacers right to get the gear mesh set right. Also, that's a pretty important task, so to get it right, it takes a little bit of experience, which I've never done it. Like I said, I would have liked the experience, but with having to take it to at least the pinion gear to the shop to get the bearing pressed off anyways, and the fact that I probably would have had to do it numerous times, I decided just to take it to this dude right here who's been doing it for 40 years. So make sure we get it done right the first time, and then it was just worth it for me to pay him to do it, because it was something that would probably take me all weekend, and then I still might not get it right, and then having to run to the machine shop and back to get the bearing pressed off and on. And so I just said screw it, and there's another Mustang. Said screw it, I'll pay this dude. It's well worth the money for me to not have to go through all that and make sure it's done right. So I don't think she's done yet. We're here a little early because I'm trying to pick it up before work, but hopefully she'll be coming out soon. And I got to break the gears in. You want to drive around slow, don't go hard on the throttle, no highway driving, anything like that. So I got to do that for about 500 miles, give it some hot and cold cycles, and then I'll be posting up some pull videos after we get them broken in. Alright, well, we got the new gears in her, so I'm going to take out of here. We just took it down the road, a little quick drive, make sure everything was good to go. And she's good to go, so now I got to try to make it to work. I have forgotten all week to get a hold of MPT and get my tune for these gears, because not only is the speedometer going to be way off, which we already confirmed, but I already knew that, but it can mess up like the shift points and whatnot. So hopefully tonight I'll remember finally after work to put in an order for that tune, and then I might have it Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that. So I gotta baby it anyway to break in the gears, shit, and whatnot. But I'm also not gonna be hard on it until I get that tune in here for these gears. So you might hear my exhaust clunking around from where I chopped the mufflers off. I still got to get my cherry bombs put on too. And they are definitely a lot shorter, so yeah, it says we're doing 50 already, but I'm doing like 35. Yeah, so I'm not sure about higher speeds. But currently at this speed, yeah, my GPS, because I was trying to find my way out of here, said it's 15 miles an hour off. When I was going 35, according to the GPS, my speedometer read 50. So it's about 15 miles an hour off. I believe that would multiply the faster we go, but it's at least 15 off. Alright, well, on my way home. And it's a nice cool night, so the it's like mid-40s, I think, so it's gonna help a little bit to keep the rear end cool, at least a little bit cooler by a few degrees. So I was supposed to, according to him in the paper he gave me, I'm supposed to give it 2 or 3 heat cycles of keeping it under 45 miles an hour and not driving for more than 15 minutes, and then parking and then letting it cool down for at least a half an hour before doing it again. I believe the paper said to do that 3 times to break them in. But that just wasn't possible for me today to get to work unless I wanted to have the car towed back to my house, for which the distance I had to go to this shop, it probably would have been a couple $100 to get the car towed back. It just wasn't an option for me for various reasons, along with the expense. But so I had to drive it probably 40-45 minutes to get to work. But I took all back roads through the middle of freaking Columbus all the way there. So it was a lot of stop and go. So what he was telling me is it's the heat is what the issue is. And that's why you don't want to drive it for very long or go very fast, because the faster those gears spin and the longer they're spinning, the more heat it generates. So you don't want the gears to get like hot spots or anything like that. So with that being the case, even though I had a 40-minute drive, by me keeping it 90% of the time, keeping it under that 45 mile an hour requirement, I had a lot of stop and go traffic. So I was probably stopped just as much of those 40 minutes as I was driving. So it was probably like almost 20 minutes sitting at red lights and stoplights, and only 20 minutes of actual driving. I mean, that's why it took 40 minutes to get to where I was going. So no more than I'd had the gears turning, I'm coming to a stop. So they stopped turning and they were not getting too hot, and then I'd start to go again. I'm sure they'd start to warm up a little bit, and then I'd have to stop again. So and it's not like a hot summer day or anything either, so I'm sure they're fine. I just really didn't have an option. I'm trying to do my best with following those instructions, but I just couldn't quite do it to a T, but I'm sure it's fine. Those were very involved break-in instructions compared to what I've seen. Most of what I've seen researching it before I even bought the gears was just pretty much, don't be racing on it, going full throttle, and stay off the highway for the first couple 100 miles and make sure there's a few heat cycles and you're good. So with this is much more strict and whatnot, and the guy said he's been doing it for 40 years, so I take his word on it. But I think it'd be just fine to push it a little bit. I'm sure these instructions are best possible scenario, so I'm trying to stick to them as close as possible. Now on the way home, I have a 40-minute drive of pretty much just driving solid. So what I've done is I took back roads all the way home, and where I could, right now I'm on a state route, so if anyone comes up behind me, I'm gonna have to speed up. But I've mostly been on back roads where I've been going like 40-45 miles an hour the whole time. And right now I'm actually going about 45. I GPS'd it at 70, I'm doing 50, so because I haven't got it tuned for the gears yet, I'm not going as fast as it says, as I said earlier in this video. So we got a nice 40-degree night, so I'm just taking closer to an hour to get home and driving it slow, try to keep it around that 45 mile an hour limit. So this makes the second heat cycle now. It's already had one, so it is what it is. And then tomorrow will be my third and final heat cycle, so I'm probably going to step it up to actually going the speed limit, 55 mile an hour on state routes and back roads all the way to work tomorrow, and then she should be good to go. I'm still going to give it a little more than that though before I really start getting on it. But that's it for this video. Just wanted to announce, like, hey, I got the gears in, so here very soon I'll be having some pull videos and takeoff videos and launch videos, 0 to 60, 0 to 100, all that, after I get my speedometer recalibrated properly. So you got that to look forward to. And I'm still going to be doing a video. I still got to get my cherry bombs on here, because right now we're running a muffler delete, but I definitely want to get my cherry bombs on there, so that'll be coming up soon too. So if you want to see any of the other mod videos I've done so far, we did cold air intake, MMR water pump pulley, aluminum one-piece drive shaft. You can check out the Mustang playlist for all those videos. And next year I plan on supercharging, so if you want to follow the build, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll catch you on the next one.